Call this August 2026 meeting of the North Liberty Library Board of Trustees to order. First item on the agenda is public comment. I do see members of the public in the gallery. If you do wish to speak at this time, please step forward and state your name.
Hello, my name is Alicia Abrams. Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm here to express my support for the library, including My Shadow is Pink in the recent story walk. One of the things I value most about our public library is that it gives our community access to a wide variety of stories and perspectives. A library can introduce children to stories they might not otherwise encounter. Sometimes a book speaks directly to a child and helps them feel seen. Sometimes it helps another child understand and appreciate someone whose experience is different from their own. To me, My Shadow is Pink is ultimately a story about being comfortable with who you are and having the courage to be yourself. This book gives children an opportunity to see that it's okay to be different, to be yourself, and to love and accept who you are. Those are values I think are good for our community and good for our kiddos. I appreciate our library staff and board for creating a welcoming space where children can discover books that encourage kindness, empathy, and acceptance. I hope we continue to support that mission. I hope our community can disagree about individual books while still respecting the role of the library and how that plays into giving family choices. I appreciate the library staff and board for their work and for maintaining a library that is open, welcoming, and available to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kelly Sittig. I am a resident here in North Liberty, and I too am here to offer my thanks and support for not only the story walk itself, but also the books that have been put in there during its time. My husband and I live in the neighborhood of the Liberty Center Story Walk, and even though we are well into our 40s, I'm probably not the target demographic for the story walk. We do make a point of walking around and reading the stories. And I, like Alicia said, I feel like the range of stories and perspectives that have been represented in the books make North Liberty feel incredibly welcoming, which to me is one of the most important vibes that I would love for our small town to have, and something that I know both my husband and I and our two kids who we are raising, they're older now, but also appreciate about the city. So thank you to all of you for what you do, and to the library staff. I hope we can continue to put a wide range of books into the Story Walk in Liberty Center. And I would also love to see more story walks throughout town as well. So thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Hello, my name is Vifix Marais, and I am a Johnson County supervisor. I come here also as a transgender human in this state. And I just want to say that I know that we are often a target and a beacon when it comes to putting our values out there. Johnson County, I know, is an inclusive, accepting space, and an ever growing, it seems, country that doesn't really want us to feel like we are one, that we have common values. A lot of us are here because we love our community. We're serving our community in the best ways that we know how. I've always admired our library staff, your library staff, and the things that they do and bring forth. I enjoy actually reading the updates that we get, the people that you have come through, and just really appreciate all of the work that you do to make sure that everybody does feel included. We know that when we don't see ourselves reflected in society or in our books or in our stories, that it can feel really isolating. And that's probably the last thing we need right now. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for all that you've been doing, and continue to support your library. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you for your comments. Next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the July meeting. I do see that we have a quorum. Do I have a motion to approve the meetings from July?
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of approving the minutes from July, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Hearing no nays, the July minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is the library director report.
All right. So financial update, we are sitting at 14% with the personnel budget, which seems shocking, I know, in the first month because we had 2 pay periods. Generally, it would be a little bit less than that, about half of that. But we had 2 checks come out in 1 month. So that'll even itself out after August. And then personnel services, as you can see, are at 6%. And then the contractual services is at 11, which, as we know from every other year, we tend to front load those where we pay some of the databases and other larger payments right up front for the rest of the year. So that is where we see this. So we're sitting at 13% right now, but we'll see that level out across the budget next few months. Does anyone have any questions about budget, any of the lines? All right. We'll move on. As we can see, I want to welcome our new board member from the county, Becky Renneker. That was approved last week on the 13th, and Becky and I met last week. Well, we met a long time ago. I've known Becky for many, many years, and Becky's kiddos used to volunteer at the library, which is really fun and full circle when they were young, and now they're not young anymore. They're older. They're adults now, which is really cool too. So I don't know if you guys want to take time now, or I guess there's something later in the agenda to do some intros, or if you want to do that now. Up to you.
Good intros. Scott Kramer, my wife Melody, and I have 2 kids. Madison, who just started at UNI, Dustin, who's going to be a junior at Liberty. I work in IT.
I'm the other Scott. Very, very long time volunteer at the library. That's what I'm more proud of than most things. Was in IT, retired in April. Hooray! Full-time goof off. Randy?
I'm Brandy Green. I live in North Liberty with my husband Sean and our 2 kids that go to Clear Creek, Amana, and I work in pharmacy.
Hi, I'm Angela Fote. I live in North Liberty with my husband and 3 kids that are now in 3 different schools this year. We've got Liberty High School, North Central Middle School, and then Grant Elementary. We're all big readers and supporters of the library. In my day job, I'm a nonprofit attorney. It's nice to meet you.
I'm your newbie, Becky Renneker. Longtime resident here in the North Liberty area for 40 plus years. Raised my children here. They went to Penn Elementary, Northwest Junior High, and West High. And they, again, like she was saying earlier, my children both volunteered at the library. It was very important. Libraries have always been important in my family. And now they're grown. One's in Montana, one's in California. Life goes on. I'm fairly retired. I still am an adjunct faculty at the College of Dentistry. I do that in the spring semester and 1 a week in the summer. So I'm a fairly free person available to do some more volunteer work, which I'm happy to be a part of this library.
Welcome.
So I was hoping that we might do the open meetings training at a board meeting, and then I was talking with Tracy Mulcahy and our city attorney and reading through some information and literature, and the law, for some interesting reason, states that we can't watch it as a group. You can't train on it as a group. So I've included the link in the packet for those of you who would like to do it. Becky is required to do it as a new board member. The rest of you, because you've been on the board previously, are grandfathered in, but you are more than welcome. It's very scintillating information. But I think it is helpful to know how to run the meetings and have the open meetings. So I think it's good information. It takes about an hour. It's not too long. So the link is there through the State Library Training website. You just have to sign up for an account. It's pretty simple, and I'm happy to help support anyone if they need help.
Is the issue that we would be violating the open meeting laws if we got together in private
Look at
to,
Tracy. Look at Tracy. Shake
to
your head.
watch the video outside of a normal meeting time?
I just figured we would do it during our normal meeting, but
Although,
The way it's set up is it's individualized, so each person has to verify that they've watched
Got
the
it.
training.
Makes sense.
So it can be done as a group. They don't
Makes
allow
sense.
That registration level.
Thank you.
so the state library has actually made a specific one to libraries, which is nice. Of course, as we know, since you guys are an advisory board, there may be some different differences in the training, but for the most part, it should serve you well. Just going on to the staffing update, we have a library assistant position open for 10 hours a week. I just think this is fascinating. We had 116 applicants for that position. Our HR department is always extremely impressed. We don't know why the library gets a lot of applications. She said the other day that no other department gets quite as many.
There's probably a reason.
I think so. So it's pretty cool. People want to work at our library, apparently. So Jen and Kelly are hiring for that position, and they have been working very diligently to read through all of those applications to ensure that we select a good candidate. I believe they set up some interviews now, so working through the process slowly but surely. And then I just wanted to bring up, you all should have received an email last week regarding mural. We had a solicitation for an artist that went out. There was a little bit of a snafu with the language there. There was some confusion that I came into the library and had heard that there had been a concern. And when I mentioned it to staff said, no, we weren't talking about the artist. We meant that we wanted the artwork to be representative of our community. But when you read the call that went out, it definitely calls for an artist to be of special consideration will be given to an artist of certain demographics. So there was concern. We discussed it as a city with some city staff, our community relations, and some other city leaders helped just determine that it was best to just put a pause on that, the mural call for now, so that we can do some reviews of exactly what transpired and how where it broke down. And we will be working through some new procedures to ensure that hopefully we avoid that in the future and don't have any kind of mishaps like that again. We have spoken to a few people in the community who were concerned, including a state legislator who called me last week. She was lovely on the phone. We had a nice discussion. She had just been to our library for a meeting, and so she was very complimentary about the library and said she wanted to come straight to the source, which I appreciated. I think we will be in good shape. As you all know from our meetings, I'm sort of a policy and procedure geek, so I was a little bit out of my element not knowing what to do with this. My husband was, as an aside, my husband was like, "Why are you so freaked out right now?" And I was sort of like, because this is very unlike me to be unsure about this stuff. This is my area. So we're working through that. I've spoken to several staff, and we'll keep kind of plugging away at it. And I'll be working with Nick and some other city staff to make sure that we come up with some solid procedures going forward and how that'll be handled.
Are the anonymous calls, have they stopped?
Yes, that was just a couple of days. We had a few phone calls of people that were not very nice, not very friendly, and a couple of emails that were pretty unfriendly. But the rest, there were also some very polite, nice emails and phone calls too. So, and we were able to explain that this was just a mistake and things happen, and we will move forward. So, does anybody have any questions about that?
Will that delay the overall project?
We are going to delay it.
Okay, so
I think that it's important that we make sure that our processes are in place and solid before we start up again. Talking about it with Nick said, we can delay it. We can pause it and just review it and put it back up. And I said, I think we need to delay it longer than that. I would like to make sure that everything's very solid before we go back out. So.
makes sense.
Parking lot resurfacing, if anyone has been by the library, you will see that it is quite interesting over at the city or at the community center right now. It almost changes daily. They are actually working now, so They are tearing it up. The intended end date is the end of September. It is everyone's guess whether that deadline will happen or not. But right now, the whole west side is completely torn out and closed. So there is walking access from the south end of the building, but not from the north at this point, which was something they decided last week needed to happen and so that they could get that curbing fixed and torn out. It's giving everyone something to talk about the weather, is what I keep telling people. It's lots of conversation when people come in about when it's going to be done and what will happen next. So it's bumpy, it's crazy. The people, the folks that we're working with have been really great about communicating. Our city engineer has been fantastic about keeping up on things and letting us know what's happening. So we will continue to inform as best we can. We are kind of just, when we're putting stuff out to the public, it's as much information as we can give within the bounds of how much we know, honestly. So they are resurfacing, they're adding speed tables, so it'll be lovely when it's all done. It's kind of
They're adding, what was that?
What's that? There'll be some speed tables added in, so every year we put in those sort of temporary ones for summer. There will be built-in ones that'll be more friendly for our snowplows, that worked better for them, for our parks and rec folks, or our parks guys that do that snow plowing. At some point, the west entrance will be closed for a bit while they work on some sloping, some issues that we had with some drainage over there as well, but we are not sure when that will happen. I think soon-ish, but we'll keep everyone posted in the public as much as possible.
Someone had asked me a question if the pout fish on the drainage block on the sidewalk was going to be removed, and if so, would they be replaced?
Well, that's a great question. That is not something that we have addressed. I would guess it will be removed for sure because they're fixing curbing all along there, and with the pouring of or with the asphalt, I don't see how they would be able to protect it. I would like to see something come because we have the great ones in the back, and people come in all the time. It may be about poutfish, or maybe it'll be something new.
Right.
But Tracy and I are on a committee for art, so you never know what new things could come about. And then another exciting thing that I'd like to share is our partnership with it that we have with Data and Society. They are coming this week. Data and Society is an organization that is sort of a human-first technology approach. We were selected as one of 8 libraries to do nationally to do a project with them, some research around AI and community conversations. They're calling it AI Civics. So we'll be inviting groups to come in and do discussions about what that looks like, leadership invitations and things like that will go out, and we'll be having different conversations. If folks are interested in this room and coming to that, please reach out to me and I can get you an invitation. It is short notice. The first one will be Friday this week. I know Scott has expressed interest in that already. If others want to come, please let me know. And then we'll have our first staff introduction to that as well on Friday. The representative who's coming to visit is coming from DC, and we're really excited to tell you that her family has a Century Farm here in North Liberty, which is really fun. And so they're this week at the fair getting their farm recognized as a heritage farm. So I think that's really cool. Her dad has been in contact with me as well, so it's been kind of fun, just a full circle thing for their family, for her to be able to come here. So the project is part of a $1.8 million grant that's in partnership with the Digital Public Library of America. As you guys probably have known, I've traveled with to do some trainings with them throughout the last couple of years. And I've listed some of the libraries that will be involved and included the press release here. And then I just also wanted to inform the archive presentation that we did at ALA, that I did at ALA this summer at the American Library Association conference, was apparently popular, and they've asked us to do a webinar, a repeat of it in a webinar form because of the feedback that they've gotten, so that's cool. Just mentioning again, as our public comment commenters discussed My Shadow is Pink did raise a concern from a North Liberty resident who spoke to me a couple of weeks ago in the library. And I explained our processes and our policy and how we determine how we select books and how we apply those selections into our programming and services as well. He also did come to a city council meeting and speak, so he has used his First Amendment rights, which is exactly as it should be in a democratic society, to speak, just as what happened tonight. So I'm pleased that we've also received support for this story walk. Does anyone have questions about the story walk processes? I did want to mention too, I've had a couple of people ask about both public folks and on the board about the story walk that it's down now. That was planned and scheduled for it to come down on this weekend. Once Emily had returned from vacation, she'd actually hoped to have it down the first week in August, but she was on vacation. It is down now, and the new one was supposed to get installed, but there is a loose post, so we're holding off on installing the new one until we can get that repaired. And the rest is the different reports from staff. So if anyone has any questions about those, I am happy to answer those. Any questions on those?
Questions? Okay, the next item on the agenda is policy review.
All right, I have to navigate out of this and get to my two. So these are the two policies that I brought up at the last board meeting, which is the internet policy and the meeting room policy. The internet policy is mainly an addition, it's just some cleaning up of language, and then an addition to add a phrase about AI. Initially, I had thought that we would add a little bit of a longer section on AI, and then after discussing with our city attorney, we decided that a shorter, and with his advice, and also Angela was really helpful with this, just a short sentence just saying that AI tools are available to use, but to please use them within our policies, within our other library policies.
Probably makes more sense to try to be broad than try to be specific, because
Correct.
otherwise 6 months from now,
And we know that AI
It's a change.
is here to stay. We'll be, as a staff, we'll be talking a lot more about it internally. The city is talking about it. It's everywhere. So
Are there
there'll be more to come.
any plans for providing a resource like that within, like, the web page that has some of the things that we provide to the community?
Like an AI toolkit?
Or a link to subscription to, like, some of the other subscriptions that we have?
I don't know. We have not discussed that. I think it's such a
It's dynamic, so I don't know that we could really.
I was going to use the word nebulous, but that's not really good either. It changes so often that I'm not sure that it's something that we would do. I've heard a couple different things. One is that we want to make sure that people have good information, and we want libraries to make sure that they're at the table for these discussions so that it is human driven rather than AI driven. We want to make sure that we're driving it rather than it driving us, right? So that's the first thing. We want our staff to have the capability and knowledge to be able to assist and help folks with AI. And then on the flip side of that, I've been reading articles about a couple of libraries who have done some trainings for people on how to avoid using AI and how to turn it off when they don't want to use it. And those are extraordinarily popular to the point where the libraries who have done them have had to do repeats of them in order to get to accommodate all the folks that want to join. So I think as we do this work with Data and Society and do a deeper dive in it, and as you saw from the teen conversations that Nick held, that they also are not as excited about it as we would think. I think there'll be more talk about what that might look like for us and what we might do at the library.
you might be surprised to see how cautious people in IT are.
Yeah.
We're quite cautious, and a lot of times have to rein in people outside of IT in terms of
That does not surprise me
usage.
either. That does not surprise me. And then you hear from other fields where they're just like, great guns where they're saying, oh, we're told we're supposed to use it for everything. And I'm like, oh, I'm not sure. So the internet technology policy is really just that one, the biggest change is that one sentence. The rest of it is just like cleaning up some language. The meeting room policy is tightening up language more than anything. As I mentioned, what we've seen more as the meeting room use gets busier and busier. This year, I, for lack of a better word, have seen more people trying to circumvent policy than I've ever seen before, using alternate names and email addresses to book extra days, or using their spouse to book extra rooms or whatever. So we're just trying to tighten up the language to say, please only book 3. We're trying to give you space and time for free, but we also need to make sure other people have access as well. It's all about accessibility and making sure that it's fair and level playing fields for all. So I just tried to tighten up language to make it a little, hopefully, more clear to folks what's available. And I've sent out a few, emails like that saying, hey, I see that you may be booked under 2 different names, and we'd like you to not do that. Man, people are mostly understanding and apologetic after they figure it out that we've got it figured out too.
That you don't just have AI
Yeah.
handling the reservations.
So those are the main changes in those. And then our city attorney did help me reword the note at the bottom of the, as you know, I try to get by with as much inclusive language as I can, but sometimes the law won't let me do what I'd like to do. So our city attorney helped guide what I am allowed to do. So the changes in the note are from Grant.
I appreciated the revisions, especially compared to the first draft, which was good, but I thought this really tightened it up and made a lot more sense in terms of the structure of the overall policy. So thank you to both you and Grant for working to think through how those pieces work together, especially in the internet use or the internet and tech policy.
Yeah, I didn't let him look at the meeting room one. I'm just kidding.
No, they both, I don't have any questions or concerns about either, but I did just want to note that there was definitely some work that had been done, and it looks good.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciated your input on that too. You
have any questions on policies? Okay.
I will move to adopt do we want to do them separate or together?
It's best to do them separately, or
I move to adopt the internet and technology policy and the meeting room use policy as set forth in the board packet.
a second?
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing no nays, the internet and technology policy and the meeting review policy are approved. Next item on the agenda is the election of officers.
Everyone's favorite time of year.
I was not the president last time, so do I ask for nominations, or what are the mechanics of this?
Pretty loose.
Okay.
Whoever gets forced to do it. No, just kidding.
I'm willing to serve another term as president unless someone else wants the position.
Look at
You're doing
her.
You're doing a fantastic job.
I could use a
We
gavel.
appreciate you.
Amen.
Okay. Do I have any volunteers for vice president?
Was it Stephanie? Who is vice president?
She is currently.
Okay.
And the key role of the vice president is in the absence of the president. Vice president runs the meeting.
Bill's the president.
Scott, Brandy, I feel like.
Yeah, I can do it.
All
I'm
right.
happy to do so.
Randy's on the slate.
Okay, and do I have any volunteers for secretary?
May I ask a question about the secretary position?
Yeah,
Like
Tracy
what-
can probably help us.
What does that role look like now?
I think it just reviews the minutes and makes sure they're accurate after I do them. I'm looking at you. I mean, I think based on the bylaws, you're supposed to write them. So based on that, I would say that you would just review them after the meeting when I send the packet out and make any corrections, like kind of point out any corrections. So kind of watch the meeting if you're not there, but also just kind of make sure I'm doing my job. Oversight of me. That's a really tough one.
It was very challenging, very challenging.
Do we have a volunteer for secretary?
Clemens?
I would volunteer.
Okay, so the slate that has been put forward is Scott Kramer for president, Randy for vice president, Scott Clemens for secretary. Do I have a motion to
I
move
move
it?
to approve the entire slate.
I have a second.
I guess that's me. Second, yes. I second that motion.
All approved, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Hearing no nays, that entire slate is approved. Next item on the agenda, new business. Do we have new business? That sounds like a no. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned.